race.
Well, this place just reminds me of how mightily Michael Waltrip Racing struggled when we started back in '07. We came here and put Terry Labonte in my car just so we could be sure of making the race, and talked to Robbie Gordon about driving for us. And that was just 5 short years ago that we were here and wondering what our future was like and how we were going to survive. Ty Norris and I probably appreciate this win more than anybody ever could, because we know how close we were to just not being around anymore just the 6 months out of our start. So to stand up there and be able to cheer with Brian Pattie and the team and see Clint take that checkered flag after all we've been through, it's just really special. Clint told me when he joined our team, he signed his contract on a Tuesday, and on Wednesday he said, "Y'all do a really good job off the track, but could you give me some cars I could win with?" And I said, "Yes, we're going to do just that," and I'm really proud to be able to sit here today and know that Clint drove one of these cars into victory lane. Big deal for our team.
Brian,
Big deal for me too, Bubba.
You are our team. So.
For those of you in the room, we are now welcomed by race winner Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 15 5-hour Energy Toyota. Clint, just talking to Michael about how far Michael Waltrip Racing has come in 5 years, and this is your first win here at Sonoma. Just talk a little bit about what it feels like to be part of this win here today.
Well, let me tell you, I just looked up, and Jeff Gordon's sitting there on the wall. Won this race many times. He's a champion of this sport, and I just beat him. I'm telling you, I passed him. I passed Jeff Gordon, and I have no idea. A young racer from Kansas, he don't forget stuff like that. Just unbelievable to be able to, at this point in my career, to get with a new bunch of people. Very nerve-wracking times in the wintertime. Basically kind of lost my ride at RCR. Walked into a new program with a lot of unknowns, and I had a lot of confidence in what was going on. I still had confidence in myself. And, Michael, Rob Kaufman, everybody involved with MWR paired me with Brian Pattie and a lot of good people. That's what it takes to be successful in any kind of business. And, this NASCAR racing is no exception. It's all about surrounding yourself with good people, and we certainly have that. We have great partners, 5-hour Energy, Napa and Aaron's, my teammates, Martin Truex and Mark Martin. I'm telling you, everybody's working very, very good together with this group. It's something I've never been able to do before. I've had good teammates and I've had good stuff, but never like this at this magnitude. And this is a young group. Michael stuck it out, and I'm telling you, he's fixing to reap the benefits. He's worked hard. Our marketing department does a great job, and this is, I think, the first of many to come. To have this dirt boy from Kansas in victory lane at this road course is big, trust me.
We're just really thankful for Toyota. They're the reason why I even had a chance to have a team. And we got out of the gates, like I said, in a shaky fashion at best, and they hung with us. And we've pushed together as close as we can with Toyota, and also working close with Joe Gibbs Racing. And so we have a very, very positive atmosphere, a good working relationship with all of our partners. So thanks to those guys for that. Thanks to Clint for the risk, taking the leap of faith, and I'm glad he's able to be here today.
Brian, I know you're probably used to this. I don't know how you follow those two, but just talk a little bit.
I won't talk as much.
Talk a little
Trust me, he did that on the radio today.
A couple of interesting stats. Clint becomes the 6th consecutive first-time Sprint Cup road race winner in Sonoma and 8th consecutive different winner of the Toyota Save Mark 350. So some neat stats here. Obviously, again, the first-time win for him at Sonoma. Talk a little bit about being part of this team as the struggles that they've both talked about. What does this win mean for you today?
Oh, I'm sure it means a lot. It means a lot to me. I was in the same boat he was. He lost his ride, and I lost my job. And
we're a place for refugees.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants to work for us, so these two didn't have anywhere to go.
But it's last summer was eye-opening for me personally and career-wise, and had a lot of supporters call whenever the times changed at my previous employer, and I'm just blessed to be here.
All right, well, we will open up for questions for all three gentlemen. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start in the back with Mark, and then we'll come back over to the right and get, I think, every single person on the right in this row.
Mark Garrow, PRN, for Clint and Brian. Okay, you guys got this thing won. You're going to win it in a walk, and then the yellow comes out at the end. Your thoughts about what was going on then and what you had been doing to, sort of plan ahead here throughout the race?
I sucked so much air in, my car stalled. I mean, I was like, oh, no. because I knew, Kurt really had a good car early, and I started to get away from him. But I knew there was some guys out there that took tires. And I looked in the mirror, and, the old Grizzly himself, Tony, was one of them, and he was in third place. I knew it was going to be a tall order. But there were some things that I'd learned on that last restart. The track's a lot slicker. After that first lap, you get going. I drove off into 10, and I about drove off the racetrack. Very, very slick off of 10, and it set me up into 11, and I about spun out. So I backed off a little bit, and I got me a little bit of lead away. And then we got down there to turn 4, and the 78 was all over the track, parts everywhere, and there was oil on the racetrack getting into 7. I about spun out again. And just that green, white checkered, everything that's going through your mind. You're close on fuel. You got to keep 2 champions of this sport behind you. You have no business leading this damn thing. and man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of unknowns about the rest of it, but just unbelievable to have a great car. I knew when we went to VIR and tested that this thing was pretty fast. Never did I think it would put me in victory lane out here, but I knew it was going to be a good car for us. I think we'll take this thing to Watkins.
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
good. Yeah,
pretty sure.
We'll take it.
Well, I mean, obviously we had the results monitors, and our pace was really good. Had good forward drive off 11 all day, and wasn't gonna give this one away. Just make them take it from us, and lo and behold, they didn't. So it's good.
Okay, we'll start back here and just go straight up the row.
Okay. Nate Ryan, USA Day. Clint, you expressed some surprise about seeing Jeff Gordon saying, hey, I wanted a place where he's won like 5 times. Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch were also surprised you did so well. But yet, you finished 4th here 3 times. So is it really that much of a surprise that you broke through here today? I mean, were you sort of like the road course racer under the radar that nobody realized until you finally took a check?
Yeah, quietly, we've had good runs here. And this has, probably quietly been one of my favorite racetracks. And I've always been comfortable here. I've always enjoyed it, and that's what you have to be at any racetrack, any given weekend to be able to compete for a win. But, man, never have I had a car like this, and I knew in practice, we all watch those monitors, we all watch the graphs. And
some more than others.
Me, I especially watch, the fall-offs. That's what I focus on, in practice sessions. I knew Jeff Gordon had a lot of speed in his race car. I knew, the last practice that I didn't show that big lap. But my graph was really good. It was a lot straighter than most. So the hang-on of my car really held on through the course of a run. So I knew that was going to be my strong point, but you don't know what's going to happen when the cautions are going to come out and everything else. That being said, them cautions did come out. So everything that you knew going in, all the strong points that you had confidence in, you no longer had that advantage anymore. So it was definitely nerve-wracking. But, man, Kurt raced me clean. He bumped me and roughed me up and let me know he was there, but never did anything to jeopardize either one of us, because that's what happens. If you get to driving over your head and you dive bomb somebody, a lot of times you wheel hot and you end up wiping yourself out too. He raced a very smart race, and it's just it was a good weekend. It was from Barrett Jackson raising money for the charity to the little 11-year-old Brady backing on our car. It was just an unbelievable weekend. From literally running in traffic trying to make drivers meeting. It was just a crazy weekend.
Brian Arnold, Daily Republic. I overheard Tony saying he only needed 1 more lap to catch you. Is that
damn glad he didn't have it?
Could you held him off for another lap if there was another lap?
You know how many races I've had? If it wasn't for that guy in front of me, I'd have won that damn thing. He was going to beat me.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Clint. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. I heard you mention a couple times about having to race to that meeting and getting caught in traffic. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, that speaks volumes about the people that turn out for these races. That's a good problem to have. When you can't get them in there, that's what this sport's all about. I think it speaks volumes about getting things turned around in this sport. This has become one of the most exciting racetracks we go to. This road racing really shakes things up in this sport. It's a wild card race. We all know it going in. There's a lot of nerves going into this track and a lot of teams. So you hear us talk about that chase. Points are so valuable. And, a track like this can really shake things up. And we got 2 of those wild card races here, almost within 3 weeks. Daytona coming up in the 4th. We all got our eyes on that, too, because we all know the consequences between, a good run and a bad run there.
Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Michael, when you you talked about signing Clint earlier. I mean, when you signed him, where did you think Sonoma win was? How much of a win at Sonoma was a possibility?
Well, I knew he'd had some solid runs here, and Clint's one of those guys that showed up and knew how to race, and that doesn't happen very often. And when you have that feel for a car, one of these cars especially, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be good. So talked to Brian about the test they'd had at VIR and looked at Clint's history and knew that they would be a player. And it was great watching them, you know, when they threw the green, watching them march up there and grab the lead. That told us all that if everything went well, we'd be around at the end. It's cool. I got a text from Bobby Kennedy during the race, and he's like, "Man, this is hard." And I said, "Just wait, it'll get harder," because I knew the cautions would come and the game would be changed. So I was confident in Clint's ability.
You know, there's a guy right there you hear, you know, you don't hear enough of. Bobby Kennedy. There's a lot of guys at MWR that have been around for a long time that have, you know, kind of set the standards, you know, for us. Brian, myself, Mark Martin, you know, Martin Truex, he did, you know, he put in his time and saw this thing through, and we owe a lot of thanks to him. You know, these cars haven't always handled like this. It's been a lot of hard work on a lot of people's part. Rob Kaufman, you know, is my other boss, I guess, and you don't hear a lot about him. I just want to thank him. He called me in Victory Lane. Him and Michael, you know, Michael, what he does on TV, what he does for our sponsors is the reason that we're still in business in this, you know, this organization. And, you know, our marketing department takes care of our sponsors. And I think if we can keep them in Victory Lane, it's going to set the standard for, you know, many years to come.
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Clint, there were very few cautions in this race, and earlier Kurt said that he thought it was it looked like a real gentleman's road race today. How did you feel about it? How do you account for so few cautions here?
I thought it was the best race that I've literally ever seen. Best race in NASCAR history. I promise. That's exactly how I feel. That's my answer.